For Mark Carney, our awesome Canadian Prime Minister, this latest Europe trip marks a significant milestone, his fourth trip to the continent in just 5 months. I think it's fair to say that from a Canadian but also European perspective, this trip was a clear success. But what exactly did Canada and Europe gotten out of it? Well, the trip began with an unannounced, impactful visit to Ukraine, before shifting to a key meeting in Poland. This Poland stop was particularly notable as Carney's first official visit to Poland and its recently elected Prime Minister.
Together, working side by side in Ukraine, together side by side in NATO, and if I may say, we learned much from the Prime Minister, from his government, including the importance of pulling our full weight in NATO. And it will take us a few years to reach Polish levels of commitment. It's possible. But it's possible. And we have made that commitment. We will quadruple our spending on defense between now and the end of the decade. And to do that right, to do that properly, we need the best partners in partnership with Poland, in aerospace, in other areas, and in partnership with Europe through that intensified defense partnership.
I think it's a move that carries significance for strengthening ties not only to Poland, but across the entire Central and Eastern European region. Carney's visit built upon a foundation of rapidly growing ties. This year alone has seen a few major Canada-Europe milestones. An important nuclear security deal signed in January, a high-level Polish delegation visiting in April, and a recent landmark agreement with Poland to purchase Airbuses. The planes are produced in Quebec, using some components manufactured in Poland. This cooperation delivers mutual wins for both nations, especially since Poland has Europe's fastest growing economy.
Sources: Poland has the fastest growing economy in the EU, and the two leaders recommitted to an agreement signed last year, but now focusing on trade, energy, and defense.
Our trade relationship last year grew by something like 22% in a single year. So the appetite is really there. It also means that people are kind of knocking on our door more.
So here is an interesting fact about defense spending. All defense-related purchases are made by the government, while some private companies can be authorized purchasers acting on behalf of their country. The ultimate decision on what to buy and how much to spend rests entirely with the government. And that makes it clear how significant Canada's role as the lead nation at this Poland Defense Expo is.
The invitation for Canada to be the lead nation at a fairly important European Defense Expo, which is the one that's held in the Polish city of Kielce every year. And next year, Canada will be the lead nation of about 60 national delegations that go there. So, of course, Canada has been trying to insert itself into European defense production agreements, into the sort of network of buying and selling of arms between European NATO members, partly for trade reasons, but also because Canada feels that not only have its trade relations with the United States been threatened, but also its sovereignty has been threatened by talk of annexation and so on.
Over 60 countries will be there, looking at Canada as the lead nation and looking at Canada, what we have to sell and what we could buy from them. Good job, Mark Carney. And here is another thing. Just a few months ago, Mark Carney was at the EU-Canada summit, where a massive 1.3 trillion defense spending commitment was unveiled. Even though we are not an EU member, Canada is a key part of that pact. This opens a huge door for Canadian companies to supply materials and hardware to our European allies, integrating Canada into a major market. An interesting aspect is that this push for closer ties with European is happening at the very same time Canada is threatening to walk away from the purchase of 88 F-35 fighter jets. I have to say, the recent signals are genuinely exciting. From what I understand, Mark Carney has indicated that Canada is preparing to invest in key energy infrastructures with a specific focus on ports like Montreal and Churchill in Manitoba. This brings us closer to a future where Canada can begin exporting LNG to Europe. That would be a clear game changer. It would massively boost Europe's energy security and, by extension, its overall stability, effectively eliminating Europe's reliance on Russian and US energy. It's a notable shift from just a few years ago when Justin Trudeau rejected Angela Merkel's request to ship LNG to Europe on the ridiculous grounds that there was no business case. Carney's new direction suggests to me that now such business case has been made. And if Canada follows through, it would be a huge strategic win for both sides. But the cooperation doesn't stop at energy. There's also a push towards critical rare earth minerals, the essential components for everything from advanced defense systems to renewable technology. Canada is sitting on a potential gold mine with over 200 sites that could supply those vital resources. The timing for that is awesome right now, as Europe is racing to modernize its defense and green energy grid. We are already seeing this partnership take shape on the ground, with Canadian mining investments into Poland and Germany. Carney and Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz signed a Memorandum of Understanding to deepen cooperation into the minerals sector. While an MOU isn't a binding contract, it's a powerful statement of intent. If this MOU, and I have no reason to assume it will not, evolve into concrete, actionable partnership, it would fundamentally strengthen the economic and strategic bond between Canada and Europe. That raises a critical question. What would happen if the political winds shifts in the United States again? Could that derail this new Canadian-Europe partnership? In my view, no. It's very unlikely. There is a strong and growing desire in Canada to cultivate alternative markets away from the US. We have to remember that an overwhelming 77% of our exports are still reliant on the US, a vulnerability painfully used to his advantage by the fascist gangster in the White House. I don't think Carney's push for diversification is just political posturing. No, it is a pragmatic and popular strategy to build greater economic resilience. In fact, the timing for this entire European outreach was brilliantly strategic. Trump's presidency, if you can call it that, is a major wake-up call and clearly shows the necessity for Canada to secure its own competitive advantages. So, while Carney's trip signals a firm commitment to diversifying our partnerships, we are still very much on the table, working through often painfully incohesive negotiations for stable trade deals with the United States. It's Canada's delicate balancing act, building new bridges without burning the old ones. This being said, the broader alignment with Europe opens up a world of new opportunities for Canadian businesses. Energy is clearly at the top of the list, particularly on the nuclear front. Small modular reactors, SMRs, are shaping up to be a perfect fit, and with Poland eager to deploy them, Canadian expertise is in high demand. The defense industry is also set to be a major area of expansion. A growing number of Canadian firms are already on the ground in places like Poland, strategically positioning themselves for the eventual and massive projects of rebuilding Ukraine. We can't also overlook aerospace, even though it is not much talked about lately, but it is already the single largest trading sector between Poland and Canada, and still growing. I honestly think kicking off the trip in Ukraine on their Independence Day was a masterclass in symbolic diplomacy. The timing was no accident. It was a powerful signal of Canada's unwavering support and a clear intent to build a deeper, long-term partnership. The commitment was so strong that Carney even raised the possibility of contributing Canadian troops to a future peacekeeping mission once the conflict ends. This is a significant stance, particularly when you consider that Canada has been sidelined by Trump from participating in the meetings between Zelensky and other European leaders last week. By making this bold gesture, Carney did more than just showing solidarity. He strategically positioned Canada to play a central role in the eventual reconstruction from energy to infrastructure. It was a savvy move that blends upright support with pragmatic foresight. I think it sets Canada up for significant political and economic influence in the post-war Ukraine. A clear and important win. The pace of all this is breathtaking. Carney, elected just months ago, has moved at lightning speed. He immediately embarked on a global tour to meet world leaders, recalled Parliament to pass the fast-track Bill C-5, secured support from indigenous leaders, and is now in Germany, Europe's economic powerhouse, announcing the very infrastructure that will supply Europe with energy and finally allow Europe to cut ties with Putin. And that is about time. The strategy of our new Canadian government is brilliant. If we maintain this momentum within 3 to 5 years, those projects could be completed and perfectly timed for a global shift. If at that time we still have elections in the US, fair elections, not Russian-style elections. Canada is fundamentally diversifying our economy. This positions Canada for the best of both worlds. We keep our deep ties with the massive US market while gaining access to new buyers in Europe and Asia. The result? Canada gains unprecedented leverage. The US may say it doesn't need our resources. But of course they do. If not, why are they keep buying it? Now, with us having new options, the US will have to compete for them. An ability to sell to Japan, Germany and beyond puts Canada in an enviable position. The world needs what we have, and we are building the means to get it to them. By leveraging our resources and geography, we are poised to become a global export superpower. Please let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about Carney's performance over the last 5 months? I read every thought and story you share. For more and real news, facts and viewpoints to counterbalance the demagogic of the right-wing media, please like and subscribe. It goes a long way to help the channel. Till next time, I'm Wilfried Lemkuler from Europe Curious.
We were petrified, kept thinking we could never live without you by our side. And we spent so many nights thinking how you did us wrong. Now we've banded all together. Your tariff made us strong, and so you know you're not so great. There's not a snowball's chance in hell will be your 51st state. We really need our resources far more than we need you, so now just go. Walk out the door. We do not need you. you'll soon grow to regret it. When we turn out your lights, stand it up. We'll survive. As long as we can think and what we know we'll stay alive. We have all we really need. We can live without your greed. We will survive. We will survive. There's been a change. It's turning new. We're not that fledgling little country stealing all of you. We are now a nation proud that is happy to be free. You didn't realize you gave us our own identity, so now just go. We will survive. As long as we can think and work, we know we'll stay alive. Yeah, but all we really need, we can live without your greed. We will survive. We will survive. We will survive.
51st state, my fucking ass.